Hello and welcome to another episode of The Road, a podcast that is brought to you by creators, which will feature members of the community, and hopefully one day Scopely themselves will get in on the conversation. This episode is going to feature arenas. However, these are the poll results from the last episode around Survival Roads. And as you can see, one of the questions was, what are you saving for in Survival Road Depot? And it looks pretty even between Magna and Platinum mods. I guess that's a little bit of a surprise. I guess there are some people who do not have Magna. I think Lee's percentage there is really low because a lot of people will have him already. And then we also have, what edition would you like in the SR Depot? And S-Class collectibles are way out in front. And I think that should pretty much be in anywhere that is seen as like a top level area of the game now. The last poll, there was quite an even spread around where people are in SR, and obviously that's going to change over time, but I think engagement might be a little bit higher now than it ever has been. We also did have a good comment from Domis saying that I'm level 412 in SR and it's way too hard, but it's not impossible. It takes about 1 hour daily for me to do the daily SR, that is. The most stupid and annoying things about the daily Survival Road are headshot immune walkers and human stages that basically force you to pick a team that is being countered by the enemies. They also opened their first Platinum mod and got a defensive attack versus grain, so not the greatest mod in the world at all. It did max out at 49.5%, and considering a gold can max out at 50, it's basically just a max gold mod at this point. And as they say, it's bad, RNG sucks. If you want to be in with a chance for your comment to feature on the intro of the next episode of The Road, make sure you hit the comments down below, answer some of the questions that we asked during the episode, and give your thoughts on arenas. So as I said before, this episode is going to revolve fully around arenas and our thoughts on the changes that have been coming in over the last couple of weeks, and our initial thoughts on arenas itself because it is quite new. I am joined once again by Invisinerd.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining me. So basically, obviously, this episode is going to revolve around arenas. I would like to just get your general thoughts on arenas. How do you feel about arenas since they started and the sort of progression that arenas have gone through with the update iterations from Scopely?
I know some people have said this is just raids over a different skin, but I really enjoyed a few different aspects of it, like old school arena, finally being able to put use to this massive 5-star characters I have sitting there. I like the jumbling it up. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think that they're probably focused on this heavily now. It looks like this is the future of the game along with war, especially if you want to upgrade your characters to the max with veterans rings. It's something new for me, and I'm still enjoying the game, so I'm enjoying this, except for the whole coin thing. We'll get there though. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you just touched on the fact that this is the big thing. You know, this is what you have to sort of compete in to get the latest and greatest. With the arenas, you're going to get the veteran rings. So you kind of are forced to compete in arenas if you really want to take your teams to the max. And I guess a lot of people can feel that negatively. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, if you don't like arenas, then absolutely. But you can tell they're funneling this to be something that you are going to have to compete in. And I know it has discouraged some folks in my factions that I'm a part of, but I also think that they've kind of made it so that you can progress even if you haven't won, you know, even if you're not first place in all these arenas.
Yeah, that's true. And I do think that the rewards it is very rewarding right now. You know, you're getting your veteran rings if you're just competing in the individual arenas, and then obviously the champions arena is going to give some nice extra rewards, which we're going to talk about a bit later. But I think I can understand why, even if people enjoy arenas, they don't really get a chance to not do it. They kind of have to do it, not just because of the prizes, but also league standing is heavily influenced by your arenas performance now. I mean, I'm hitting milestones that I've never hit before because of arenas, which I'm glad to hit, but I can understand why some people would be like, they have to perform, especially if you're in that top level diamond. I'm sure it's very different, where you're going to pretty much have to do 10 times entry on every single arena and get high amount of points so that you can get those league tokens every single week.
Yeah, I am in Diamond 2, and it is tough competition full of payback characters. But yeah, they've even made it a part of the daily missions to complete an arena entry, at least lately on my account. I've seen it. So they're literally forcing you to do it, and it's going to benefit you even if you can't compete at a high level. But yeah, when it comes to the ability to spend coins, I mean, the push is there, and if you got them, you might want to go for it.
So, a question to the viewers: what's your overall feeling for arenas? Top right-hand corner, you can easily hit up the poll to vote on what describes your best feelings towards arenas right now. You can also leave a comment if you have any extended views. So since the update, we have had a big change come into arenas where the amount of turns you take to defeat a team highly influences the amount of points you're going to score. In a lot of cases, it seems to almost be more than the multiplier you get from a winning streak. So it does look like arenas, you have a lot more power in determining how well you score in each arena. Like initially when arenas came out, it was based on that first click. So when you clicked enter, whatever teams you got drawn against was basically the best you could perform based on the quality of your opponents rather than how well you performed as an individual. Like I would be able to blitz through the 5 hardest teams in the teams I drew and there would be no problem. I would have no one die and I would still be like sometimes up to 15, 20,000 behind the top place. Whereas now if I'm doing really well and winning in 2 turns, I'm getting massively rewarded for that. So what are your thoughts on the points boost from being able to beat teams really quickly?
I think it's great to put it in players' hands to choose how they want to go about it, whether they want to hit a team that might be lower in 2 turns, since that's kind of been what everybody's been going for, put together an attack team that'll, get done before anybody's AR can even go off on the other team. So you pick a lower one, you can get it done in 2 turns, or you can fight that guy way up there at the end and take maybe 15, 20 turns. You don't have to get down on your knees and pray to the RN Jesus that you get a good line of opponents. You kind of get a little more control over the RNG.
Yeah, you make a great point, and you get a little bit more choice as well now. You don't have to go for the 5 hardest teams. If there's that team up to top where it's got all the S-class characters and you're sitting there with one S-class attack character, you can say, actually, that's a bit too much for me. I'm going to beat this other team in, like you say, maybe 3 turns and not have to take and just get a little bit of a bonus for that. So I think that's a nice addition. They have also actually changed the weighting towards the harder teams as well. So if you do come up against, let's say, an S13 team, you used to get a lot of points for that. And they've reduced how many points you get from that now in terms of I think that reduces effectively the RNG of that one person getting that 15k scoring team and other people not getting that team. That isn't going to be as big an influence now. So I think Arenas has changed a lot since it first came into the game, and I think they've been pretty good in trying to eliminate the RNG and basically put it in the players' hands, like your hands, my hands, to actually be able to influence how well we perform. And have you seen yourself performing better? Like, how are you performing in your arenas right now?
So 2 weeks ago, I barely had a chance to get in it, but I do like that they have the milestones there so that even if you use your free ticket, you're still able to get maybe another ticket or 2, or even into that golden ticket or a veterans ring. And, I did that, and I didn't even get into the champions round. And then the next week I had enough that I went pretty hard during that week, and I got second in my champions arena. I got 4 champions tickets. So I used 4 on the first one, and then it gave me bonus. I got more. I had 2 entries. I got second place on my champions arena that round. So, and I just completed another champions arena today, and I did only have 1 golden ticket this time. And again, just by doing it, you're getting things from the milestones they've put in. So even if you're not able to fully compete, you're still getting things. So don't let it get you down. And just the quality of life improvement of putting them in order of the highest points, so you don't have to work so hard at it, has really been an improvement as well.
I think it's definitely going in the right direction in terms of arenas. There's probably some small quality of life things they can improve. Is there anything you really can see or has been sort of irking you in terms of just even if it's really small, like this one button is in the wrong place, or anything that you've noticed?
I mean, I have had thoughts like, as characters are exhausted in there's domination and endurance, and I know your characters can get exhausted. I had the thought of somehow like a survival road revive that will bring a character back to be used. How you would go about getting that, I don't know. It would be somehow rare. But I know that my team, I have Diego on my team, and he is a character that pushed me over an edge. So, when it's between him or James Gang, who am I going to get rid of? I'd love to have them both out there. And if I could have some sort of revive, but that's wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, and that also plays into something that I think that should be added. It's when you play endurance and you have, let's say, attack twice, you should know which characters you can still attack with. There's no way of finding out which characters you actually consider attack with. And I think I did a Champions Arena when I had a lot of tickets. I had like 14 tickets. And what stopped me from hitting, I was going to hit the 250 coins to do another attack because I would have leapfrogged 2 people. And this is in the last 10 minutes, so it was very good odds. And I would have got those coins back. I would have got more rewards. But I wasn't sure which teams I could make. And my roster's not proper deep in terms of strength. So if I lacked the certain characters to be able to beat the teams, I wouldn't have gone in. But I couldn't see that. And that actually stopped me from spending coins. So I think that's something that needs to be added for endurance, especially. Just so I can just see what teams I can actually build, you know? I personally don't mind the exhaustion stuff. It's annoying. I don't really attack enough times. I think it's to promote the multiplier attacks more, so you're not doing individual attacks. And I think the people who will do individual attacks with their tickets have got just much deeper rosters. So let's say a free-to-play who's only got one good roster and he has 10 tickets for a Champions Arena, he should probably... one good attack team, he should probably hit with the times multiplier for the max, right? Whereas if you're a whale who's got tons of characters, you can afford to just do one attack at a time because you've got so many characters that you can just call on and just bring in and just wipe the next sort of lineup with.
Yeah, that's where I was at in this last one. I had my 2 waves that I did with my 4 entries to get that multiplier in there, and ended up with Diego and James up for choice, so I had to switch over to like a Priya and make some things happen, just like you said. Depends on the roster.
I mean, in a way, that can be kind of fun. You're using characters that you don't as much, but everyone wants to use their best team, so I can understand a little bit of frustration there. What do you, the viewers, think about the quality of life improvements that we've been having over the last couple of updates to arenas? Which one stands out as the most important for your enjoyment going forward in arenas long term? Please use the poll in the top right hand corner, and if we've missed anything, please do feel free to comment any good changes that you've seen come in with arenas. So there are lots of different arena modes. Obviously, we do have the rotating modes as well every week, where like tank squads, attack squads, stuff like that. So it isn't the same every week, but we do seem to have old school every week and a classic as a minimum. Do you have a favorite arena mode? And if you could maybe change something to another arena mode, what would it be?
Ooh, I mean, favorite would have to be old school. You know, I've got so many 5-star characters that were just sitting for so long, and I'm so happy to have a use for them, or to look at a 5-star character in, say, a league store or whatever, and possibly have another use there. So old school top for me. Draft, I'm a huge fan of draft because there are so many players there that come through now that I do not have. So this is like the only way I get to play them. And it's almost like incentive, you know, for some players. You get that chance. You know, I saw you opened up Henyen. I'm butchering the name too. Don't be too hard on yourself. But I don't get a chance to use him, so this is the only way I do, and that's another one of my favorites. So definitely draft and old school.
Yeah, I agree. I think old school is just nice. It's only once a week, or it's in Champions Arena this week, but it's only once a week. Is nice to use those old characters. You know, compared to my roster in the 5-star era, my 5-star characters are really good now. Like, I had maybe 4 or 5 good ones back in the day, whereas now I've got Priya, I've got all the... I've got 3 of the Taunt Michonnes, which are so overpowered. So I've got a really good roster of 5-stars, so it's nice to be able to use those. But when it comes to draft, I agree that it is good. I really did like it initially. But I think that out of all the game modes, that's going to be the one that's going to be Arena's downfall, in that they're going to constantly have to update it because teams are going to constantly get stronger. So they're going to have to constantly add new S-class characters in there that are released. Otherwise, you know, it's going to fall behind. Like, the available draft characters are going to fall behind the meta, and it's going to be impossible to attack new defense teams, you know? So, and as we know in the past, Scopely aren't always on top of keeping things updated, unless they're the latest and greatest thing. Like, Arenas right now is being updated, but in 6 months' time, are they going to update it with the new S-class characters? That's the only issue I can find.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, if they look at it as a way to incentivize players to maybe spend when these characters are in the premium wheel, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Arab's coming back, you know what I mean? I'd love to get Arab into the draft wheel. He looks like such a fun player. I don't have him. I'm not close to getting him, but I'd love to get my hands on him just for one round. And it might make me, when he comes up again, spend a little bit to maybe pull. And if Scopely sees that, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good idea. Like, let's say Guo's, the S-Class has just got released. Maybe he should be a featured draft character, where in the first round, you're guaranteed to get Guo if you want him. That way, like you say, it's promoting him as a character. I think the only downside of that is it can sometimes undersell them a little bit because they all seem to have attached weapons. Woe actually doesn't, but they all do seem to have attached weapons. And that obviously reduces their power. And I don't like the fact that you don't get a leader bonus in arenas. That plays much more into like draft and making it more strategy based rather than just putting in like 5 OP characters. Actually trying to build a team would be kind of nice as well. But I mean, that could change in the future. Please click on the poll in the top right hand corner and select your favorite arena type. Which one do you enjoy the most each week? So obviously with arenas being updated, it could be updated long term. There could be new modes that come into the game. Have you got any ideas, Invisinerd, in terms of what new arena modes could come in and actually be kind of exciting? Instead of like, say, Trait Mania this week, we could have what your idea is right now.
I would say maybe an all-fast team. Only fast offense, only fast defense. I had a thought for a second where they do only, guardian shields or only healers, but I don't know if everybody will get it. But then there's the chance that maybe you'll run into some 5-stars, some non-legendary teams. So, I mean, they have options, but like you said, the leader skill should be there. Maybe they pair it up with here's your leader, form the rest of the team. You know what I mean? Like you have a permanent leader.
I like that. That's sort of like, I like that. And then everyone could be given the same leader as well. So it's who does best rather than which leader you get lucky on, That's actually a pretty cool idea. I like that idea. I really like what you said about like fast in terms of, alert only, tough only, strong only. That would be quite nice. Obviously, the downside is you wouldn't have any trait bonuses, but everyone could switch up their mods to just be attack and defense versus tough. So it would be, I don't know, there could be maybe just no mods in that situation would be beneficial. But I think they should continue to try and think of new arena modes just to keep it fresh. They don't have to release one now, but let's say in like 3 months' time, if they were to release a new arena modes, it would just lighten up the mode again, That'd be kind of cool. And I think the one you said about like particular traits. I have seen a lot of people talking about one thing with the current arenas in terms of they would want something to maybe change within one of the actual arenas, which is Trait Mania, where the trait advantages are shuffled again. Like right now, they are shuffled, but they've stayed the same way since arenas have come into the game. So they could maybe shuffle it again or like every month or so that at least it's different. Right now, it's strong, attacking, tough is the trait bonus. And it seems that Trait Mania is just going to remain like that forever, but they could make it strong, attacking, alert in the future, They could switch it up a little bit more within the mode itself.
Yeah, and if I remember, alert still hurts strong. Like one of them is even just kind of what it was, right? But it doesn't shuffle. You're right. It's almost like it's temporarily permanent.
If you have a good idea for arenas in terms of a different game mode, please leave a comment explaining how your game mode will work. And your comment, like I said at the beginning of the video, could feature in the intro of the next video. Okay, so the last topic is going to be Champions Arena. They have updated the rewards to have choice boxes now. And if we look at the choice boxes, they now range from rings to collectible items. And you can get 3 veteran rings per choice box. And I think for coming first, you get 12, which I think is exactly the same amount of rings you would get before. So it was 36. But at least you get now to choose for 25 collectible items. What do you think about them adding it as a collectible box? So at least you have a choice from veteran rings to collectibles.
I think it's going to help get people to want to do arenas more. I know some, like you, have not even spent a veteran's ring yet because you're waiting for that S-Class to get maxed out.
Yes, and I did make that as an initial decision when it came to saving my veteran rings for S-Class characters, but I have since learned that it actually costs more to max out an S-Class than it does to max out a 6-star with veteran rings. It actually costs around 90 veteran rings compared to the 60 that it costs for a 6-star, so I'm pretty happy that I've saved. It's been hard to come up against some of these 6-star teams with vet rings, I'm not going to lie, but the choice box is kind of nice. Let's say you right now, you're 25 away from getting Priya as an S-Class, you've got some choice boxes in your inventory, you could just open that and you could just get Priya right away. And I think that's a good choice for a player to have.
Yeah, putting it back in the hands of the players is definitely, I mean, from the perspective of a player, always a great thing.
Yeah, I definitely think this choice box, not just in arenas, I think choice boxes in general is probably one of the best things they implemented into the game for a long time, just because RNG has Sometimes it is fun, and it is sometimes needed to a certain extent, but RNG on RNG on RNG is just, it gets a bit crazy sometimes. So this is definitely a nice addition. So the last thing we're going to touch on in Champions Arena, of course, is the coin entries. Every week you can gain gold tickets via milestones, and you can gain gold tickets from your placement in the 5 individual arenas. So let's say this week I've got 6, or this week I've got 10. I've earned that throughout the week. Now, someone else could get 1 potentially, spend that 1, and then spend 2,500 coins and have more hits than me based on the amount of coins they spent, rather than, their actual performance during the arenas in the week. What do you feel about being able to hit more than someone who's outperformed you in arenas throughout the week?
I will not throw more fuel on this already out of control fire. I do not want to spend coins, and I do not think we should be spending coins, especially in Champions Arena. I think it should be only by golden tickets. Otherwise, the golden ticket might as well just be made of coins. I mean, or just give me the coins. Give me the choice. If I'm, you know what I mean? I think that might be a great idea. Do I want a golden ticket or just 250 coins?
Actually, that isn't too bad. That isn't too bad. I mean, if you want to spend coins, just do it on normal tickets during the week and place, right? That's how it should be done.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like a whale could come in at the last moment and just hit like a 10 hit twice in the space of 10-15 minutes, and my entire week of grinding effectively. It's not arenas isn't a big grind, but it just feels like it can be just sort of overwritten by someone who hasn't really deserved to place that high in Champions Arena. And I think they want to add a bit more prestige to Champions Arena, and coins very much devalues anything that could potentially be prestigious, in my opinion anyway.
I do like that they are awarding coins now for Champions Arena. So top is 1,000 coins and 12 of those choice boxes. Second is 10 of those choice boxes. If it means 250 coins to get 2 more boxes, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make that decision.
Yeah, and it sort of plays onto what I said before. I had the opportunity to jump 2 people for 250 coins. I would have got more boxes, more coins. I was tempted, but like I said, I couldn't see the characters I could attack with at that point. So it was just never going to happen. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. Is there anything you want to add in terms of arenas itself? Do you think they should continue updating it, or do you think it's pretty much done?
I think it's great that they are going to continually update it. I hope they hear this and throw in like a fast only or a strong only, or adjust the trait shuffle. Right now, veterans rings serve one purpose and one purpose only. And if you don't have the characters at that max, I don't know, or if you have the characters that you want maxed, say you're whaling out and you've got everything you need right now, what do you do with those access rings?
I mean, potentially they could eventually add a depot where you could actually spend the rings on particular things. It could be maybe an exclusive character or something in the depot, another depot where only veterans rings were able to be spent, or even the revive items that you were talking about before, where you can revive back a character with 1 veteran ring. I mean, 1 veteran ring isn't too much. It's still quite expensive, but if it's your key character and it could make the difference in your next times 10 attack, I think that would be pretty good.
Like the exclusivity of platinum mods in the Survival Road Depot, maybe this is the only place where you could get tickets, or you could somehow, with 10 veterans rings, purchase a golden ticket if you were unable to make it. I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I mean, they could even include platinum mods in a depot here as well, where it would be like, I don't know, 15 veterans rings. That's quite expensive again, but at least that's a little bit more accessible than, let's say, 400,000 of those Survival Road markers. So I think that's about enough for this episode of The Road. That was us talking about arenas. Like I said throughout the video, make sure you're hitting those polls in the top right hand corner. You can still vote right now. Leave your comments on any ideas you have about arenas, your thoughts. I want to give a big thanks to Invisinerd for joining me on the episode.
Thank you for having me. I'm loving this.
So we have come to the end of The Road this time, but do keep a lookout for the next edition. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.